sort of light bulb moment of, oh my God, I want to do that?
Influential teacher along with Shakespeare.
I was actually originally going to be a doctor.
Musicals is kind of where it started for me.
Really just took a lot of courage to be like, Mum, Dad, I'm going to do acting.
I knew that I wanted to go to drama school.
Yeah.
I knew that I was going to go to drama school.
And to be 17 and be able to just jump into the industry.
You have to root for yourself.
Yeah.
If I sit in a room long enough, I'm going to make something.
Unless you're like Meryl Streep, then you play like transformational characters.
Just Meryl Streep.
Sending a selfie to my mum saying, I've made it.
Hailing from Melbourne, Amy Hack is a multi-talented performer and what many would call a triple threat, an actor, dancer and singer. Amy is a 2014 graduate of the Actors Centre Australia, having also studied at the Atlantic Theatre Company in New York and the Patrick Studios Australian's Dance and Professional Development course. Her theatre credits include First Love is the Revolution at Griffin Theatre, for which she was nominated for a Sydney Theatre Award, and Griffin's three-hander Shabbat's Dinner, directed by Anthony Skews. Amy was a member of the Bell Shakespeare Players in 2015, for which I've just lost a line here, for 2015, and for Hayes Theatre, she's appeared in the musicals American Psycho, Carolyn or Change, for which she was also nominated for a Sydney Theatre Award, and for Crybaby. For One-Eyed Man Productions, Amy booked and toured the national tour of Spamalot. You may have seen her on 9 Today, where she and the cast performed Always Look on the Bright Side of Life. For screen, she has worked for Network 10's Brock, 9 Network's Hide and Seek, and on independent feature films including Infinite Shades of Grey and Equivocal Resolve.
It's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful, thank you. Amy is also a member of New Ghost Theatre Company's Ignite Collective, an emerging collective of female artists who produce new work nationally, and I know all about that, and I'm very grateful that she's a part of it.
Me too. Very grateful to be a part.
Tell me, what an amazing list of projects here. Is there one that comes to mind as a particular joy to be a part of?
Oh,
Pick your favourite baby.
I feel so lucky to have done all those ones that you mentioned. Crybaby.
Yeah.
Did you see Crybaby?
I didn't get to see it. I missed
was so joyous. It was just like people just looked back at us because of the haze. It's so small. You could see people's faces, and they were just elated, and we got to like interact with the audience, and it was so irreverent and over the top and just pushed barriers of anyone's expectations of what that show could be. It was a dream. Would love to do it again.
And you've done the Hayes Theatre loves you as well.
I love them.
Yeah.
They're sweeties.
That's beautiful. Well, we will circle back to this, but I'd love to take us back to the very beginning. Baby Amy is in Melbourne.
Yes.
What was the first spark for you? When did you fall in love with the performing arts?
Oh, good question. I think at school I was at primary school and high school I was quite shy. So I was very shy. So, but actually since I can remember, okay, here we go.
We got this.
Let's circle back. I like to circle back.
Yeah.
You circle back to like family holidays. I would amuse myself. I have lots of older brothers and sisters, so I would end up playing by myself or like finding other little kids. And I'd always end up like making little plays or like building costumes and putting on little stories and then making my whole family watch it. Or like doing a play on the table or doing like a Fran Drescher impression and like making everyone watch that too. It sounds quite forceful. They didn't have much of a choice.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that was it. And then at school I was quite shy, as I say. So when I was on stage, that was I felt like this boundless confidence, and then when I would like walk in the corridors I'd be like just afraid of everyone, which is interesting, but
it's amazing that
possibly quite common.
Yeah, that's so true. That there's a lot of introverts in our industry.
That's the thing. I think a lot of people, there is a kind of actor, and there's definitely a probably stereotype of actors who are really bold and like outgoing and super socially confident, and that's never really been me. So it's been interesting navigating that in our industry, which is filled with a lot of big personalities and can sometimes feel like a personality contest, but the reality is it's actually not, because people who aren't as going sometimes, whittle their way in.
Whittle their way in. Here I am. Can't get rid of me. Exactly right. So did you do drama at school and stuff like that?
I did. Yeah, I did. Yes, I always did. I always danced outside of school, and I did a little bit of drama outside of school, and I always did drama and theatre studies and singing and everything.
Yeah, as extracurricular and in school.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you go to performing arts high school or anything like that? Or?
I didn't. In Melbourne, that wasn't so... I actually didn't know of any in Melbourne when I was growing up. I think there must have been VCA for dance and music, but I don't think that there were any drama. I don't know if there are any now, but there weren't any. That wasn't really an option. But my school had a pretty good performing arts department, a really good performing arts department actually. So, and I was performing arts captain.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, got a bit of
The titles start very early.
Yes. So, yeah, I felt quite that there were quite a lot of creative possibilities when I was at school and outside as well, which is where I did most of my dancing. So it was a nice balance.
Yeah, fantastic. And when did you decide that you wanted to do this? Like it was going to be a thing for you?
I think it was always. It was just what I was gonna do. I never had any doubt. Yeah, and I'm quite a doubtful person, but this was one thing I was like, no, I'm gonna do this. I have to do it.
How young are we talking? Like when we're thinking we're going to be astronauts, were you like, yeah, I'm going to be an actor?
Such a good question. I don't even know. It just felt, I think it was that thing of, because it gave me this kind of license to express myself that often I didn't feel I had. So it just felt like it was my most, like the possibility of me being the most effective I can as a human being in this society. I probably wasn't considering that when I was like in year 7, but I think it was always just like, this is where I fit.
Yes. And it does feel like that. I remember feeling that in high school, primary school. It's like, oh, I'm good at this. And it is, you grow up in a place where you are trying to find, because you're getting marks on it all. So you do feel like you're finding the place you're good at.
Yeah.
And so when it's that.
Yeah, and I think definitely at school you are trying to find your identity or find your little slot. And sometimes, people don't find that at a young age, or people think it's something else. Or, people can think that's where they fit and then learn that there's actually other areas that they feel like they flourish more in. But yeah, for me, that was it.
It was early. So, I mean, you've had such a big career in both straight theatre and musical theatre.
Oh,
back then, in high school, was musical theatre the dream? Or like which one were you, did you have your eyes set on stars for?
I actually don't know. I don't think it was musical theatre. I think it was probably acting.
Yeah.
But I actually, I don't even know. It could have been dancing. I did a lot of dancing growing up, and I did some musicals at high school, which I loved, because doing musicals at high school is some of my fondest memories.
Same.
Like staying late after school, finishing or having dinner together, and oh my god. Do you have those memories?
Absolutely, yeah. The musicals were huge, and they were part of my family history as well. My mum would go and see the musicals that none of us were in at the school. We loved our school musicals. Yeah,
they were so fun.
Yeah,
the costumes and the makeup and
that's
huge
what you can
ensembles.
do. Yeah, absolutely. With kids, the quality of the performance you can get. Yeah, totally. Yeah, wow. And so then when you graduated school, what was the next step for you? Did you go straight to auditioning for drama schools, or what was the next for you?
What did I do? I don't even remember. I probably did. I think I auditioned for NIDA maybe twice.
I guess even before that, so when you were before I get out of the school years, did you take year 11 seriously? In terms of, were you going for that university entrance score and all that? Or were you like, I'm an actor, who cares?
Yes, the school that I went to placed a lot of priority on academic performance. So I did, even though the subjects that I did were predominantly arts subjects, or at least I did theatre studies, but then I did, English, religion, Hebrew, a tertiary Hebrew subjects. So it was all language and stuff like that. But what was your question?
The question was, were you academically focused?
Yes. So I think I did work very hard, and like to get a mark that I didn't need.
Yes, absolutely. Are you glad that you did that though? Like you said,
You know, I don't know. I actually think
I
that.
think about this a lot too.
Yeah, I actually think that if I could do it again, I would have chosen different subjects, slightly different subjects that like are pursued by my interest, rather than like I think I should tick these boxes in order to like I didn't need to do maths.
Yeah.
I was fine at maths, but I would have loved to do like visual art or something. I don't know. So yeah, I think it maybe encourages a good work ethic.
Yeah. Which is important in the industry, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And it's useful. I mean, I'm studying at university now, so it does help to be like, here's my good mark from high school.
Yeah.
But in the industry that I ended up finding myself in, nobody cares.
And I think learning how to learn has its, assets as well. Like I'm sure even the skills you learned working hard in those last years are probably helping you at university now, years and years later maybe.
Well, actually, I think that a problem with at least the school that I went to, or the school system which I found myself in, was that they don't really pay attention to how you learn. It's like, this is how you should learn in order to get this mark, and that's what I did. And I think that I wish that I had retained a lot more of the information that I learned, because for me it was just like putting it in my brain and and I don't think that's how I learn. So
that is
whole
interesting.
other fish, but
Absolutely. So we'll go back to my original question, which was after high school. Yeah, what was your next step? So you went for NATA a couple of times, you said?
Yeah, so I think I must have auditioned for drama schools with the intention that if I didn't get in, I'd take a gap year. And so then I don't remember, I might have auditioned as soon as I finished school for maybe NIDA and BCA or something.
Yes. Some beautiful music happening in there.
Yeah, it's stunning. And then I took a year off and I did some like random theatre shows. Oh no. Yeah, I did some like bits and pieces through St Martin's Youth Arts Centre. I don't know if you know them.
No, I don't know.
They're awesome. They do amazing stuff in Melbourne. And I ended up doing St Martin's Performers Ensemble the following year, which was like a Saturday, like a group of like 12 actors, and you learn different types of theatre and you make shows, and that was beautiful. So that was the following year. Yes.
So the first when you went for those drama school auditions in the beginning, so you already had a backup plan for what you were going to do. It wasn't the all or end all for those.
I mean, I think I was a bit like, I want to be free.
Yeah.
Sorry, Didi. What did I do? I knew that I wanted to go to drama school.
Yeah.
I knew that I was going to go to drama school. I wasn't sure how that was going to look. I probably wanted it to look like NIDA.
Yeah.
I definitely wanted it to look like NIDA. Who am I kidding? We all did.
Yeah, absolutely. I did too, and I also auditioned 3 times and didn't get in. So
of course,
I'm that same story. Yeah.
No, we but I knew that I had to dedicate. I knew that if I wanted to pursue a career in the arts or in performing arts, I needed to I wanted to be trained. I didn't want to take any shortcuts. I wanted to be have the most well-honed craft that I could possibly have. So I wasn't sure when that was going to happen, but I was like, it's going to happen.
Yeah. And what was your experience auditioning for NIDA?
God, it was terrifying.
Yeah, it was terrifying for me too.
Terrifying. I mean, it was kind of thrilling. You auditioned in Sydney, right?
No, I auditioned in Perth.
That's right.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of exciting, going to the place and, everyone's wearing black and you kind of speak to the other people and you kind of get a taste of what it might be like.
Yes.
But so nerve-wracking.
Yeah. And the different rounds and cutting people and I got a round less far every time I went for it, which was really great, hopeful for me.
I know, I did a bit of a...
Yeah. So then, of course, you ended up going to the ACA.
Yes.
Was that before? So I know that you've gone to the Atlantic and ACA, and you did the Patrick's Studio dance. What was the timeline of that? Was it ACA first?
So I did a year in Melbourne of mainly nothing, but also a bit of travel, bit of
great gap year.
Gap year, and then I did Patrick Studios full-time dance, and then on the weekends I would do St. Martin's. So I was really burning myself out that year.
And the dream was still both dance and acting then?
I think that I thought to myself similarly with acting. I was like, I'm a strong dancer, but if I do want to have dance as a possibility, even if it is in music theatre or wherever it might be, I want to get really good. Like I want to get really strong, and actually doing that course, I kind of started to rise as a music theatre performer, because they were like, she's an actor, so we can kind of feature her in like, you know, the acting roles or the music theatre roles, and they kind of made me sing on the spot.
Oh my gosh.
I cried because I hadn't really done that much singing.
Yeah, and that's not a fun thing to do at an amateur level. Oh my gosh.
God. It was the most traumatic experiences, like some of those experiences, because they would literally be like, sing, and then you'd like start crying, and then you're like, come on, you can do it. It was very much like that. It was like push-ups, everyone push up, you know, it was like very intense, but I'm very grateful for that. Yeah. And then the following year, I was like, I need to use my brain, man. So I probably auditioned again. Yeah. And then I went to Melbourne Uni and studied philosophy.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
And you finished that degree? No.
I only did 1 year, and I was doing like heaps of student theatre and stuff, which was awesome.
Great.
So great. And they have like theatre camps. Like if you do a show, like I did a version of Hamlet, and we had like a Hamlet camp. Yeah. And it was just like, what a dream. Like it was so fun. Just working with really smart, creative young people your age, and like trying to spitball and make something interesting. It was like a Hamlet rock horror schlock spectacular. There was like a rock band, and there was it was just wild.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then after that year, I auditioned again, and I got into ACA and 16th Street.
Yeah. And you hadn't even auditioned for those the first time around, right?
No, I'd never auditioned for ACA before. Yeah.
Yeah. So what made you extend? Did you learn about them on those kind of years that you had off? Did you even know about them, I suppose, in the beginning?
I actually don't know how I heard about them. I don't know how I heard about them. But I did some research, and they sounded really great. Yeah. And they got me in touch with a lovely girl, Anna, who was a first year student at the time. She was also from Melbourne, and she had a big chat to me, and she told me what it was like, and I was like, this sounds awesome. And I think by that point I'd like relinquished the obsession with like a name, like I was like, I'm gonna do this no matter what. I just want to study, like I just want to get really good at it, and then regardless of what's on my resume or what it says on my training list, like I'll have the skills to be equipped to, you know, do the things. So then I went to the audition, and it was just a beautiful vibe. It was really fun, and they pushed me, and I was like, this feels good.
So it wasn't the terrifying vibe from Nada?
No.
Different vibe?
No, it was like, it seemed less austere, and there was less of a, like, I shouldn't say chip on the shoulder, but it was just kind of like, we're going to do this. You know, they know that they don't have the name of Nada, so it's like, we just train actors, and we're based in a church, like that's where we're going to do our classes, you know, very modest, and that's what it was like in the audition, and that's what it was like in the training.
Did you get, was that when you decided you wanted to do that course? Like, did you really get a sense from the audition of what it was going to be like, I suppose?
I think so.
Yeah, and that gelled with you?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, because I say that, but maybe if I'd gotten in somewhere else, I would have gone. Yeah. I mean, I got into 16th Street, but...
And that's in Melbourne, right?
Yeah.
Yes, but so you chose to move and go to...
I chose to move, 16th Street was a 5-minute drive from my parents'
Oh my gosh.
house, which is where I was living. And it's film and TV, and they have a great reputation, and they also produce awesome graduates, but I wanted to do like a theatre training. Yeah,
I see, that's what it was. Yeah. Your love's always been for theatre.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what was your experience at ACA?
Oh, it was so great.
Yeah.
Drama school's the best. It was such a great experience. I met some of my best friends who are still my best friends today. I learnt so much about myself. You know, I got to create some of the best theatre I've ever seen. You know, a big part of that will watch my peers create that, and you know, felt such a powerful sense of community and collaboration, and you know, lack of competition, lack of some of the stuff that the industry can breed. It was just really about in this together with the same intention, which is to create art and to tell stories, and it was just just such a great experience. We had the most amazing teachers back then. I'm not sure. I think a lot of them probably aren't teaching there anymore, but some of them still are.
Yeah.
And they were just extraordinary. Just opened my mind.
Yeah. That's so great. And, you know, there's a version of that story where you just kept going for neither, you know, and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
didn't settle, but it sounds like it was...
I'm so glad.
So glad. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And they've produced incredible graduates from there as well. Definitely. They're a bright, shining, rising star.
Yeah.
And they're not in that church anymore, of course, either.
No, I love
the
church.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Mm.
Do you still think that... Well, of course, then you went on to do further training, didn't you? Because then you went to Atlantic after that.
Yes.
Yes, and how long was that? A year? What was that like?
No, it was just 6 weeks.
6
It was
weeks.
just
Yes,
a
I know what. Yes.
Yeah, and that was. I think I did the play after I finished drama school. I did a little bit, and then I did the plays. So that was toured for a year.
Wow.
And then after that, I was like, I'm gonna go to New York and study at Atlantic.
And why was that? So you're already on the path to a professional career here.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to do this?
Well, I love learning.
Yes.
Learning is fun.
Hence, again, now you're back there again.
I'm back there again. But I just love learning and training, and I think I'd always dreamed of studying in New York.
Yeah.
And going to New York, and I'd never been. And when I was younger, I'd read David Mamet's acting books.
Yes.
And I thought that they were very enlightening. Now I'm not so sure. I would like to go back to them and have a think. But yeah, True and False was a real interesting eye-opener for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, and a lot of Australians go to Atlantic.
Yes.
So many. It was
Why
like
that is.
40% or something when I was there were Australian.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I wonder what it is about that technique that really gets
I
us.
don't know. I get maybe it's just a reputation. Like people hear of other Aussies going, and but that is something I would highly recommend.
Yeah.
Training overseas.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have any aspirations in your future to work overseas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to. I'd love a show to take me overseas. Or I would train more overseas for sure.
Yeah. Where's your heart set?
I mean, I don't know. Like I love New York.
Yeah, me
But
too.
it's an amazing place, and I love having an excuse to live there, like to have a routine where you kind of go pick up your coffee and you go like it was just incredible. Maybe France, maybe like what's his name, Gaulier,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, who knows at the moment? It feels like there's a lid on everything, every possibility.
Yes, I know, that's right. COVID world, it's a bit hard to
COVID world,
say.
yeah.
Absolutely. Have any of those, like, what's your process these days as an actor? Like, do you keep any of those kind of theorists with you at all?
Yeah. Well, so I think drama school taught me like the foundations.
Yeah.
And a lot of those things I think I inherently have with me without consciously. Like some of my friends who I went to drama school with remember everything exactly. They're like, you put the what's in the like you do all these particular techniques.
Yeah.
And I don't really apply those directly because we learned so many varying techniques. It's not like this is the ACA technique.
Yes.
So I think a lot of that has informed as who I am as an artist. But Atlantic was a specific technique.
Yes.
And I do apply that sometimes, depending on the roles I'm playing, the characters, and what the job is or what the play is. But interestingly, I found when I left drama school, like a few years after I left,
We're loving the noises. Yeah, I think there's a musical happening out there. Just to set the scene of the musical.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. We set it up for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Dulcet tunes. What was his name?
We were on the note of, we love that, of to be at the Atlantic doing one technique for a local few times. And that's practical aesthetics, I'll jump in and say that. That's the name of that technique. And we are going to be doing a video on that at Jumpstart Youth Theatre, so keep checking us out if you want to know more about practical aesthetics.
I just realised that you can look at the camera.
You can. You're welcome to look at the camera. Hey everyone.
I just might. But now I'm going to get self-indulgent and look at the camera, so I shan't.
Camera shy.
That's an awesome technique.
Yeah.
I loved it. I actually loved doing it at the time, and I think it actually brought out my best performance.
Thank you.
My best acting.
What about it did you like about it? If you can pinpoint that.
Yeah, well, it kind of allows you to, once you've done all the work, you do all the work, you do quite a lot of analysis of this text, and that's sitting down and like homework, and you're really sifting through what the writer's given you.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yes.
But then, if you do the technique right, and you follow the steps, it enables you to let go of that when you're up on the floor.
Yeah.
And I remember at drama school sometimes, especially because we did do so many different techniques, I'd get up on the floor and I'd have like all these different, okay, now focus on this, now ground yourself in this. Like, I'd carry with me all of the techniques that I'd been trained to learn.
It's like you have to go through like an unlearning process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was too much, but practical aesthetics is like you distill this, like what you've analysed down to this one finite, clear action that's really playable, and then you go out there with one thing, one sentence in mind, and it really frees you up to kind of stay connected with that objective, essentially. They don't call it an objective, but, and then just, listen to your impulses around that.
Yeah.
So I wish that I had actually stuck to that more, but the characters that I've played since that have been quite outlandish.
Yes.
So sometimes I have applied that technique, but sometimes I've just gone more outside in.
Yeah.
Which is something that, like at drama school, they kind of said to us, like, when you get out in the industry, you're going to play yourself. They're going to see you, and they're going to see, like, okay, shortish, curly hair, earnest, a bit quiet. That's who you're going to play. And, I was like, oh, okay. And
oh my gosh, the opposite has happened, right?
Yeah,
that's amazing.
I mean, and oftentimes that is the case.
Yeah.
Like, you see brilliant actors who kind of play similar versions of themselves. I don't think I'm that good at that. Maybe because I don't think that I'm that interesting. It's probably true. But then when I finished drama school, they cast me as Juliet with the players, and she's probably a bit more similar to me.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, this is kind of how it works. But I felt a bit limited in that, and I think that is because I didn't think I was that interesting. So I was like, I don't want to back myself. I want to back this character because it's just. And I think the great actors who do play versions of themselves they really stand behind themselves as people, and you're like, you meet them and you're like, this is who you are, and you're interesting, and I want to see you on stage. Not that I'm not interesting, but maybe that I don't see myself as interesting as I possibly am.
How interesting. That's really great.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a whole crock of baloney, but
no, I think that's got some truth to it, because you're right. And I mean, it's also interesting you talk about your time as a child and getting to be loud on stage, getting to be that. So,
totally.
And I've certainly seen, I saw you at the KXD playing a boy, and it was fantastic.
I love
Yeah, and
That's
that's
what
where
I
you
was-
thrive in those.
Yeah.
So you completely, I can see why you've you've lost that typecast at the same time.
Well, they said to us, they were like, you're going to play yourself unless you're like Meryl Streep. Then you'll play like transformational characters.
Just Meryl Streep.
I'm just Meryl Streep.
That's what it really comes down to.
No. That's Meryl Streep. Maybe one day. No. But yeah.
That's amazing. And so we came back from Atlantic Theatre, and at any point in this, have you had singing training?
Yes.
Yes. So after being bullied at the Patrick Street, after being forced to sing there, did you just go, okay, got to figure this out now?
Yeah.
I see.
I think I did, and they made me sing a lot. They made me sing really big songs, and then I became known as like the singer. But if I were to listen to that stuff now, I would have just been belting super loudly, probably damaging the heck out of my vocal cords. But that, out of fear, I learned how to belt, and then afterwards I was like, I need to backtrack and like figure out how to do this. So yeah, actually at drama school I don't think I got too many singing teachers, because we had vocal training, which was very different to singing training. But then since I've gotten into music theatre more, I've been having lessons, which is awesome.
And you just go for the one-on-ones, you just get the really specific training. Amazing.
Yeah.
So at any point in all this, did you have like ever an amount of time that you gave yourself where you're like, I'm going to give this a go for 5 years, if I don't make it, I'm going to quit? Like, did you ever have like that?
No, I don't think that's how I really work. I'm not really a goals kind of like a set goals kind of person. I just like follow my impulse if it's strong, and I've really been like riding the wave. Ironically though, at one point I think I felt a bit disillusioned by the struggle, and so I said, you know what, I'm going to study psychology, because I was just like, I felt like I wasn't utilising myself in society as much as I could have been just pursuing my own success.
Yes.
Because it can get a bit self-indulgent.
Absolutely.
And
I struggle with that too. Yeah.
Because you're like, I'm just trying to like make myself something, and that means that the product that you're working on is yourself. It's just so self-obsessed. And I was like, I just want to like help someone else.
Yeah.
Or I just want to focus on something aside from myself and like be helpful, be useful. And then as soon as I enrolled in Sydney Uni and started studying, and then I got an audition for Crybaby, which was a real character. And it was a theatre director, Aspirations,
Yes.
who
Fabulous.
I adore. But because I'd not done music theatre before then.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. So you just
I'd
kind of
sung a lot at drama school.
Yeah.
And I'd done a little bit of music theatre before I did drama school.
Yes.
But I'd never done anything professionally or anything. So I ended up like singing in a bunch of plays that I'd done, but I'd never, considered doing music theatre really. But then this show came up, and it was Ballage, and it was kind of rocky, Motowny style music, and I was like, I can do that. And then I auditioned for that, and it was like, once I just started studying, things started to pick up, which
Always
is
the way. When
always
it
the
rains,
way.
it falls.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, isn't it weird? Was psychology something you were always interested in? Like, was it your official backup?
Official?
Did you have an official back? Did you have something you're like, yeah, if this doesn't work out, I'll do this? Or was it just a kind of concurrent like interest?
I think I have always been, I think a lot of actors or people who work in our field are very empathetic. Like we have to be.
Yeah.
So I always felt that there was something a way that I could use that. And I also felt at drama school that there was so much therapeutic value in our training.
Yeah.
And I was like, you see people really go through stuff, and then you see people at the end be more equipped to handle things that life throws at you, because you just know yourself better and you have kind of coping, maybe you're just a bit stronger or something.
Yeah.
So I was like, there's got to be a way that I could kind of, those areas could kind of merge, like helping people and creative expression and the kind of community transaction of performing together. So I think I'd always had like an interest in it, and then I was interested in maybe drama therapy or something whereby I could kind of join the two. So then,
is that still what you're looking at? Like, what does the future look like?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's so interesting. God, it's a very interesting field because it's actually in its infancy, kind of.
Yeah.
We haven't been studying it for that long. Only really like 100 or so years, people have been like, there's actually some complex stuff.
Yeah.
It's not just a weird organ. So I don't know. I'm actually super interested in like drug and alcohol rehab. I don't know why. I just think there's a part of society that people really are made uncomfortable by. People on the street who have like such deep-seated addiction. Yeah. And we just, it just makes us want to look away. And I think that it's such a challenging part of society because like you can't just deal with their addiction. Like you need to deal with what made them predisposed to being addicts, which starts when they were probably kids. Like their parents may have been addicts. Anyway, so it's a real challenging field, and at the moment, it's kind of like something I'm interested in, but I'm still in my very early stages of this degree because I've been like part-time, and then I've been like I deferred, and then I part-time deferred, depending on
just too much on, too many acting jobs. And do you think acting will stay with you through all this as well? Like you don't like, do you plan to move careers? Like, are you looking at a career change here, or is it more of something to continue on the side?
I mean, I transferred from Sydney Uni to Deakin online because I thought maybe I could chip away at it online while still doing my acting. Again, like maybe I should be more goal oriented.
No, I love it. I mean, it's all working for you, right? You are getting the work.
Riding the wave.
Yeah.
Like I kind of think there's a detriment to setting goals because then you find that if you don't get them, you're like, disappointed or it's all about if I get this, then I'll be happy. But
absolutely.
it's like you don't know what you would have gotten if you didn't aim to get that particular thing.
Yeah.
So I just kind of try and work hard and put myself out there and, you know, build myself up in any way. And that's not just studying, and that's not just training, it's not just acting, it's also like personally.
Yeah.
You know, as a human. I
Yeah.
want to be the best human I can be. And I want to make things that I'm proud of, like create art that I'm proud of. And
It's interesting you talk about your time in high school and how you wish you'd done things you'd enjoy more. You know, but that's exactly what you're doing now. You're just doing what you enjoy and not worrying too much about you know, an outcome. Because if you do what you enjoy, you'll figure it out, I suppose. Yeah. It's all connecting back in, see?
I mean, so many people have like goals, and
I'm a goal girl, I must say. I'm like,
I think that's great.
straight down the line.
I
I
honestly
don't know,
think
that
could
gets
do
me
with
stressed
that.
though.
Does it?
Yeah, and I feel like I struggle to live in the moment, maybe. I'm always like, but in 2022, what am I going to do? You know?
Really?
Yeah.
I think I could do with some more of that.
Wow, we
Sure.
could do like a, you know, Freaky Friday thing. Run really
Yes,
fast at each other.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
And dangerous.
Potentially dangerous as well. I've talked to a couple of people on this series who we've talked about being an actor and how the work is so fluctuating and how do you take control of that work yourself, and you know a lot of that's been about, you know, some people write, some people produce or direct it. Have you what do you feel about the fluctuatingness of, and is that what sent you to psychology? Has that been your version of, you know, because have you done any producing or writing or anything like that?
I am so deeply disorganized. I think I would be the worst producer on the face of this earth.
Yes, but this is interesting, right? Because like I've heard time and time again, you know, people come in and talk to me about how you kind of need to do something else. It can't just be acting, because you don't want to just sit by the phone and wait for your agent to call. You want to do stuff. But some people also aren't writers and they're not producers, you know. So how have you dealt with that idea?
Well, I've dabbled in writing.
Into writing, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But and I think I'd probably be okay, but I maybe am a little bit creatively blocked or something. I just don't. Some people, you know, find it so easy to just write. It's not that easy for me.
Yeah.
And I think for a while I really did want to make my own work, and whether it was like movement or directing or something like that.
Yeah.
But and that may happen at some point. But at this point, I've just been really enjoying the creative process of like taking a character into my own hands and kind of molding that in collaboration. That's the thing, I work better in collaboration.
Yeah.
So sitting at home by myself and writing is difficult for me.
Yeah.
So I love to, feed off people.
So has most of your work that you have got for yourself, has that been through an agent or has that been kind of off your own back?
I mean, I have an agent, but most of the work has been through people I know, people I've worked with before, people who've seen me and stuff.
Yeah, so you still have found a way to kind of create agency, take control of your career. Yeah.
I think the success that I have, which like I would define as just having been paid to do what I like.
And, you know, several Sydney Theatre Awards and all sorts, but you know.
It's been through my own doing. Or just through people, you know, it's quite a tight-knit industry, and like it took me a long time to get into it because it definitely helps graduating with a group, because you graduate not only with your group of actors but with actors from other schools and with directors. Like we worked a lot with the NIDA directors when we graduated.
And they still have that really great connection between ACA and NIDA.
Yes, absolutely, and that was really helpful because you know, made some friends and just kind of got a bunch of connections, and then you kind of leave into the industry with this community, which is so helpful. I really do feel for people who come from overseas and they like want to, you know, because it's really nice to have that foundation. So I think that's where most of my work came from. It came from doing a lot of things, and then people eventually, some of the stuff isn't stuff you're that proud of, but you just do a lot for a while, and then you start to kind of, you know, you grow as a performer, and then people see you growing, and then you know, just keep doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. Amazing. Well, I have my favourite question for you, which all of the people want to know in year 11 and 12, and that is, how do you learn lines?
Oh.
The secret skill of an actor. How do you do it? What is your secret? How do you remember all those words?
The age-old question. So I think I mean, this is what I tell people, because people like my family members are like, but how do you learn?
I mean, it is quite a skill.
It's a skill. It is a skill. But For me, I think it's like I familiarise myself with what the character, what's going on in the scene, what the character wants from that moment. So, you know, if I really want you to give me that script that's in front of you, and I know that this is what my character wants, so I've gone into the scene like really atop of what this character wants out of this thing, then if I'm learning the line, can you please just give me the pieces of paper?
Yeah.
That will just flow out. Like I'll read it and then it'll kind of be in my head because I'll already be familiar with what the character's objectives are. So I find, you know, with something like Shakespeare, which is not as, you know, natural to us, that can be more difficult. So you have to really make sure you understand the meaning of everything to the point where it might be something that you might say. And then you can still apply the same thing of, I really know what I want in this moment, and this sentence is how I'm going to get it, is how I'm potentially going to get it.
So it's all very motivation driven.
Yeah, I think once you've kind of done that, I'm not the kind of person who could just like pick up a page and like just learn the lines like that. Like I need to understand what the character wants, like do a bit of work on what's kind of going on, and then the words just stick much easier.
Yes, I completely get that. Then it's less about what were the words and more about what was the thing I'm trying to get at this moment, and then it comes to you that way. Yeah. Do you have to spend a lot of time with your script learning lines, or do you find that it actually comes in rehearsal?
I walk. I find I really learn them best when I move around. So like I don't drive, so I kind of walk around everywhere and take public transport and stuff. So I'm constantly like going over lines or going over songs while I'm walking or things like that with my headphones in.
Do you record your lines?
Sometimes, yeah.
Great.
Yeah, sometimes I'm a line learner.
Yeah, I think I might be an audio learner as well. Better with that. Yeah.
I don't know why. I need to be physical. Like I need to be doing something. Otherwise, I just like get bored. I get distracted.
Yeah. And I mean, that comes from, I'm sure your dance background relates to that as well.
Yeah, maybe.
Do you do any straight dance still, or is it all kind of in the acting scene?
I do hip hop. I take hip hop classes. I love hip hop. Yeah.
And do you do professional dance outside of the acting sphere?
Not really, no. I mean, I've done little bits of like, initially, like when I finished drama school, I did some like physical theatre movement, which is awesome. But then since I've just been kind of casually dancing, I've done some like hip hop kind of gigs, which is just like fun. It's just like casual fun, because to be a dancer is a whole other thing, and it's not really the field that I want to be in, but I love dancing, so I just kind of...
And I mean, the acting community has certainly utilised your dance talent. Like even in that Griffin show, which I saw you in, which was fantastic, the Revolution, First Love's Revolution. I mean, you had some movement at that. She was a sexy cat. Sexy cat was a really big highlight of my year. Yeah.
So much.
But yes, certainly it gets, you know, in all of the, even straight acting, even outside of musical theatre, they've certainly utilised your dance skills.
Yeah, well, I think any skills that you can have that, like any extra skills that could be applied to your acting can serve you in some way.
Absolutely. And we had Jack Walton in here before, who plays the clarinet, and he's got his clarinet out in a few shows, you know, and it's amazing. Yeah, what we'll make use of if you have it.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's just interesting to see people with like funny skills, even though dancing not a particularly funny skill, but also, you know, on stage, like it's your body. Yeah. Like you are a physical presence on stage, so I think it's great to be able to express yourself physically, because like, you get to see the whole thing, and you can be at risk of, like when you're on film, you know, being too physically expressive. I've definitely been known to do that, but on stage I think it's an asset.
Definitely. Do you feel like your, and you've kind of just said it, but I'll put it in a more specific question, is do you feel like your dance has made you a better actor?
I think yeah, I would say so. Well, it's helped me with my character stuff, which is definitely something I love to do. And I guess maybe set me apart from some people who like use their bodies less, but it's also been a downfall in a lot of ways, because it's kind of a like, what's the word? Like a default is like over characterizing with my body. You know, I have been told to like pare it back a number of times. So it depends who you work with and what they want and what the style is, but sometimes it has been, you know, because with dance you're so used to kind of controlling your body in so many ways. Yeah. So sometimes that's not what people want to see. People just want to see the, you know, your internal world. They don't want to see all the jazzy business. So yeah, it can be good and bad.
That's great. Is there any, and feel free to not have any, but is there any, I mean, I know you're not very goal orientated, but is there any roles that you would love to play in your career?
Oh,
Any dream roles?
I mean, good question. Oh, I've always wanted to be on Saturday Night Live, but I don't think they let Australian people on there.
Well, you need to change that, Amy.
Yeah, maybe.
That would be, oh, that would make me so happy.
If I were to
You
have a
want
goal,
that.
it
Yeah.
would be that. But
Yeah.
it's just, and I would love to train to do some kind of improv or character training in New York for that purpose. Right now, again, there's no possibility of doing anything or aspiring to anything. But
The COVID
yeah,
shot will come.
always.
It will
Yeah,
come.
it will come. So that's the kind of thing I love. But a role, I don't know. I just love that I've gotten to play like the weirdest things that I never would have thought that I would have played.
Yeah, you kind of have hit the goals in that way. Yeah.
Yeah,
You've done it.
No, I want to play like everything that is not me. I want to play like a little kid, and I want to play like an uncle. You know, I just want to like,
Yeah.
because that's great. You know, we only get one life,
Yes.
and in our unique position, we get to play like people that will never be.
Absolutely.
Just for a second, like it's fun. It's fun.
Yes, that's so true. Amazing. I had one other thing I was desperate to ask you, but now I cannot remember what it is. It was to do with, I just wanted to also just like touch on the fact that you were in the Players, which is
Yes.
awesome. And it's how like, I think so many of our biggest Australian actors, it's like where they start, you know? I feel like that's such a common story. What was that experience like for you, like working with kids and
Best.
taking theatre to kids?
That was the best. That was such an awesome experience. Hard work.
Yeah.
And it was, I think, the first time I realised that this can be like a job,
Yeah.
like a real job, and like a job that you want to kind of go home at the end of the day and be like, that was a big day, you know,
Yeah.
because I think up until then it had been such a dream, and they were like, you got this dream job, and then I was like, I'm tired,
Yeah.
you know, it was a job. Yeah, but it was just an awesome experience, because you know that even if, firstly, I toured with an amazing group of people who I miss and love dearly, and we had so much fun, and we got to see the country, like this incredible country.
How far did you go? Where did you get to do it to?
We went to WA, and we went up like to Newman and Exmouth, and like saw the red dirt. It was awesome, and like, you know, got to introduce Shakespeare to kids that I doubt had ever entertained a thought, and they were super into it, you know, because the shows were so well written in such an accessible way. So that was just such a great gift for us to be able to share that with them.
Yeah.
And also like show them that, you know, there's possibilities that they could be like us, could be doing similar things, especially because we were so young, you know, so it was like not such a far stretch. And God, yeah, it was really fun. And you really have to, you know, you're taking your set with you, you're taking your props with you, so it was very hands-on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's a real huge learning curve.
Do you think that drama participation is important for kids?
Yeah, totally. Totally. I mean, I think it encourages play. I mean, kids are instinctively so playful, but I think we lose that as we get older, which is really sad. And we don't have to. And this career, this industry shows you that, you know, it's actually a viable thing to do.
Absolutely.
And it's also like noble, because especially right now when you look at the struggles that people have faced during COVID, like entertainment has really been a saviour to so many people.
Yeah.
So it's play, but it's also about, you know, an imagination, you know, and encouraging people to keep imagining beyond the scope of like their existence.
Yeah, or beyond the scope of being a child where it comes naturally.
Yeah, totally. I think it's so sad that we might lose that.
Yeah.
And so I think it's so great for kids to keep getting involved and keep doing that stuff, and also keep like making mistakes. And that's a thing that I wasn't very good at. Like, I think I'm a bit of a perfectionist.
Yeah.
So, which might be at odds with my goallessness. But maybe not. Anyway, you know, I don't want to make mistakes. Like I don't want to fail, and I think that is something that should be emphasized more in high schools and primary schools. Absolutely. That like, you know, there is no right really. It's at least not in our field. It's about like exploration, and it's about expression, and there's no like right way, especially because we're all so different, you know. Yeah, I can't compare myself to anybody else, and I can't even, you know, I probably have high standards for myself, but there's just no, it's not set in stone. There's just no such thing as perfect. It's just all kind of a journey.
It is indeed, and that's really good.
Blah. I don't know if I said anything.
No, you did. That was, you could be the poster girl for Jumpstart Your Theatre. And it's meant, and you got to give that to kids, you know, introduce them to that.
Oh,
as
good. I don't think it was made much sense, but you know what I meant.
It's in with the players. That you got to kind of take that experience to kids, you know, and give them that. First time with Shakespeare or whatever that is. Yeah, that's awesome.
Totally.
Players rock. We'll wrap up. Do you have any final words of wisdom for our young viewers on entering this insane industry of ours?
Oh my god. I would say that, I mean, firstly, I would stand my ground by what I just said before, even though I said it in a very convoluted way. Like, I think that there's no such thing as perfect. So if you're trying to fit into any mold, you're not going to fit, because the mold is going to keep changing, and you are different to any idea that you have of yourself, and also anyone else. So there's no point in comparing yourself to someone else. You just got to keep trying to be the best you can be with as much integrity as you can, but there's no perfect. And the other thing I was going to say is that what makes you succeed is what is uniquely you, which is kind of related. So, you know, I might think that I need to do something according to what I learned at drama school. They say, you know, you're going to be like this, and then I actually learned that the way that I'm going to flourish is by sticking to my guns and doing the thing that I feel most comfortable in and that I enjoy the most. That is what kind of set me apart a little bit, and maybe kind of get some work. I don't know if that made any sense.
It made all the sense. That's beautiful. Believe in yourself.
Yeah.
It's a thing we're all trying to still teach ourselves, as well as young people teach themselves, and trust in yourself. Yeah. Beautiful last words to leave on. Thank you so much, Amy Hack. We love having you in. We love watching your artistic journey and your psychological journey in other fields as well.
Thank you.
Please never quit this world, though, because we love you in it.
I don't think I can.
Good. Happy to have you.
Too.
Thank you.
I haven't got you, but
yeah. Yes. Happy to be here. Yes. Fabulous. Thank you, Amy. Thanks for having us. Thanks for... We're having you.
Now we are really...
Yes, yeah. We're gonna stop now.